Champions are not born, they are forged, tempered and shaped by the fires of competition. Each year, the nation's best amateur racers enter the flames of the Sports Car Club of America Runoffs, a single, winner-take-all event. This year, the Runoffs returns to Road America, one of the world's greatest and most challenging tracks. Over 500 drivers will take the green at the 48th annual Runoffs. Only 28 will emerge as national champions. The SCCA Runoffs, next on Speedcast TV.
Welcome to coverage of the Formula 500 race at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. These are some really cool race cars. We're going to hear the engines roar, and the engines you may hear in other machines and different manufacturing elements, whether it be pleasure or for work. These are actually Formula 500 cars with engines you might find in a snowmobile or ultralight airplanes. And I'm Jim Trade along with Dorsey Schrader. This is setting up to be pretty interesting how these cars are so different in appearance, but so faster on this racetrack.
I'm relatively sure you'd be smarter to be running a snowmobile tread right now than these little skinny tires, because the racetrack is wet. And although the sun is out and it is drying, these guys on the first couple laps are going to be on an ice rink.
The class has 27 competitors in it. They're on their warm-up lap here. And the rain this morning has dissipated now. The sun is shining, but the track is still very wet. I would say 85% wet maybe,
yeah,
not totally dry in areas.
You know, you look at the places where it's going to be wet. It's going to be wet here going down into Turn 5 because of the trees covering the racetrack. The sun, it's going to be really wet down off of the carousel through the kink, through the back straight way down to Canada Corner. That's also completely covered by trees. And, of course, those trees, those leaves are dripping water down, and the sun's not getting on the track. So you're going to have half of this race run half a lap of it's going to be pretty slippery.
You mentioned Formula 500. There's a number of different ways to make that motor work, and a lot of the creativity happens. Some of the classes are spec classes. This class very much has somewhat of a short few-page rule book in terms of how to get the power down to the racetrack. You've got different engine configurations, but also different chassis manufacturers. Some are home-built. Most of them now have come from 3 or 4 main manufacturers. And as we take our warm-up laps, let's check in with the third member of our broadcast crew, John Bizignano on pit road. Hey, Biz.
Well, a very quick update while the cars are circling around. Michael Brent, who qualified second here, a week-long effort, did a great job of putting his car in second, did not make it to the grid. There was no crew here. We don't know why. Looking at the rain tires or the slick tires, the pole position man was on full wets. Now the second-place qualifier, well, the third-place qualifier starting in second, is on intermediates, and then there's several cars with slick tires, then the intermediates and the wets, the full rain wets again. I'll tell you, Dorsey, guys, they're going to be slipping and sliding around here. Multiple choices on tires right now.
The thing is, these are solid rear axle cars. It's like a go-kart. There's no differential between left and right, which means it's going to really want to kick the back end around every time you get on the power. It's a belt drive, so once they get the clutch hooked up on these cars, it's going to want to spin that back end around. The cars are going to be pretty loose. There's one spinning already on the pace lap.
26 cars now have answered the bell. We see, unfortunately, the 56 machine going in the grass. That's David Lapham, scheduled to start in a 10th position.
He's on sticker slicks, I think, and that shows you how slippery it really is out there. They're probably doing all of a whopping 30 miles an hour, and he just had a big 360.
To follow up on Biz's point, there is a certain protocol. Cars are to the grid. There's been a countdown timer, so to speak, reminders, that kind of thing, and the cars have to appear on grid. And as Biz said, a couple of these cars are on intermediates. Most are on slicks, it appears, as they're making their way around this pace lap.
See standing water right there to the inside of the kink. That's not a place that you would want to be anyway. That's too far to the inside and too far through the corner. But that just shows you on this back straightaway I was talking about going down to Canada Corner, it's going to remain wet for quite a long time because of the trees shading that racetrack.
Michael Miller has earned the pole position from right here in Plymouth, Wisconsin. He'll lead us to the green flag. Michael Brent, we mentioned, is a no-show on grid. He's scheduled to start second. So Jason Knutson, driver eligible for the Super Sweep, has one less car to worry about. He's in the number 92 machine. Knutson is going for the Super Sweep. He's won the national points title. He's won his division. He's also on his way to trying to win the runoffs to cap the Super Sweep, which is, again, a very difficult task indeed here in the SCCA top amateur competition. He's had to win his division, win the national points, one of 9 Super Sweep events, and cap it off with the runoffs to earn that prestigious honor. Knutson in the 92 is eligible, the only driver in the field that will be able to do just that. Starting up in the top 4 as well is Aaron Ellis, the number 43 machine. That's one of the Ellis 06 chassis, one of the very few built by the team. They're still able to do that, but the teams have now found speed with Scorpion and Red Devil chassis and KBS built, and other manufacturers, QRE Invaders also. There's 6 of those in the field as they form up for the final time.
Back cars need to get caught up. They're way lagging as the front row's about to get the green flag.
And here we go, Mike Miller in the number 24 machine getting the green flag from the pole position, and these cars will indeed work on the draft and rely on the draft. We'll see that front group trying to get paired up as soon as possible into turn number 1.
Not too bad a spray right through here. The front straightaway is relatively dry now. A lot of jockeying position.
That's Knudsen leading them into turn number 1. In third, there is the 10 of Jeremy Morales.
Now is where it's going to get slippery, right over the top of this berm. Everybody so far clean through turn 1.
Formula 500 underway here at Road America in the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. That's the 24 machine out front. I stand corrected. That is Michael Miller, the pole sitter.
Oh, big twitch out of the second place car there. Good save. Again, stick axle cars, solid axles. They really want to move the back of the car around.
From turn 1 to turn 3, Mike Miller was able to get that advantage back and lead this field now. Still trying to settle out. Into position here. Down. This is now turn 4, 4A into turn 5.
See more spray coming off the cars here as that race track is definitely wet through there. Big lead by.
Yeah, Mike Miller's actually opened up quite a gap here, surprisingly, as these cars, I've seen them draft 7, 8, 9 at a time, and it's usually the lead pack that are that much of a grouping. What a gap he has here.
Big gap for just the opening lap, and of course he's got the most clear racetrack in the visibility, although the spray's nothing now like it was in our last race.
And Knudsen with that bright colored center section runs second. He had the lead coming into turn 1. Well, a little dance there. Great save by Michael Brent, the number 47. He did make grid, just not in position at the time the cars rolled off grid. So Michael Brent scheduled to start second, now making his way back through the field in that yellow machine.
How tenuous all these guys are on the throttle. One car coming out of pit lane here has come in for an adjustment of some sort on the first lap.
Boy, in these 13-lap sprint races, there's no time for error in the 16 machine of Chuck McAbee. His son CJ is also in the field, but Chuck McAbee in the number 16 now underway.
Now here's the wet part of the racetrack as you come through the kink here. Daunting corner, usually flat out in these cars, but with this rain and this slipperiness, you have to take it with a grain of salt, if you will.
Let's look at Steve Jandal, who has 9 top 10 finishes in Formula 500 competition in the runoffs in 13 tries in that number 38 machine we just got a glimpse of. 3 cars now battling here. We see that through this very area, their first time through, they're a little bit tentative.
Yeah, they're
and as the race goes on, they'll find their way through and gain speed.
You can hear all those engines and clutches working as everybody's trying to get grip down. And that chainsaw noise has these trees shaking in their roots.
Good one, Dorsey.
Had to say that.
James Wida and the number 22 machine leading now up the hill. We'll get our scoring refresh at start finish, and Wida actually has a very good run here. We'll see if these 2 cars can draft their way forward.
Automatic transmission, if you want to call it that. It's not actually a transmission. It's just a spool clutch system with a belt drive that drives to a live stick axle, rear axle, would make these cars extremely difficult in this wet condition, slippery condition.
Well, Michael Wida is making it work, so is Mike Brent. James Wida now getting past. Wida's in the 22. Michael Brent moved past him in the yellow car, so put Brent back up into position here. He's now running 4th.
And Jim, you brought up a really good point. Normally you see these guys tucked in really, really tight drafts, but in the wet, number one, you can't stay as close in proximity. You got to leave more margin of error, and then you've got this visibility problem as these tires, of course, open wheel cars, are throwing a spray vortex off of them too.
So now we get a good glimpse at Michael Brent again, scheduled to start second, started back further in the field, now making his way forward. He's passed James Wida for 4th position, now setting his sight on the medal runners currently. They are Michael Miller, the leader, Jason Knudsen, the Super Sweep eligible candidate, running 2nd. CJ McAbee runs 3rd in the number 15 machine. This is 4th, Michael Brent. Up the hill they go. Brent was a gold medalist in 1997 at Mid-Ohio in the SCCA National Championship runoffs. In his 21st run at the runoffs is Brent making his way forward now.
Everybody being very cautious here still. Like I say, these cars are pretty darn hard to drive. See the twitch right there in the braking for turn 8.
Notice the rear bodywork on Knutsen's car. I see a lot of differences there. Behind the rear axle, there's a certain amount of length you can have back there to kind of play with aero, and there's a lot of differences on these cars.
Yeah, these are, there's a lot of leniency as to what you can try to do with these cars. One thing that is the same about them all is that drive line, that drivetrain, all using the same engines and the same kind of a clutch setup. You can adjust that clutch to come in at different RPM levels, and I would think right now in the rain that would be a very important adjustment.
There's a look at the national points champion, Jason Knutsen, the number 92 machine.
Woo, little slip through the kink. That'll get your heart going.
Currently running second, the June Sprints winner as well. Came from Danville, Indiana to accomplish that. Started on the pole here last year, but did not finish. So certainly something to check off his list, and the Super Sweep is a frosting on the cake for him, as Knutsen hasn't had an awesome season.
Well, if he won the sprints, he knows the racetrack pretty well. Obviously, he's pretty tuned with the car and in this wet condition.
And he played the Southeast Division all year at Danville, Indiana. So he played a lot of different racetracks. Came up here to the sprints for one thing, to try to get ready for this event right here.
Very smooth off that corner. You see him with a huge lead headed up the front straightaway.
So Michael Miller is your race leader coming into frame here, completing lap number 2.
Mueller almost 12 seconds ahead of second place, which is Jason Knutsen.
Michael Mueller now is the name correction. Miller it is. Mike Miller is the race leader. Michael Miller out of Plymouth, Wisconsin. MJ Manufacturing. 5Co HRP. Subway sponsored Red Devil. You mentioned the chassis manufacturers. He has really got something going. Because Knutsen, I was here for the June Sprints and watched this race intently. I'm telling you, Knutsen had this field covered. And now to see Michael Miller take what he's done here and gone to work with this condition, drying as the laps go on, is very, very impressive with a 16-second lead right now.
Well, that's what I'm looking at is the drying condition. 16 seconds is just outstanding. It's almost 17, 16.974 on 2 laps, which is amazing.
And you'd never think that there's that kind of a gap in this class, because what I mentioned, and seeing him at June Sprints and seeing him here in the SCCA Runoffs, this is my 6th opportunity to work on behalf of the coverage of the broadcast of the June Sprints, of the Runoffs. I haven't seen anything like this in this class.
There's a lot of difference between tires on these. Biz was talking about at the beginning of the show that a lot of this field is on slicks, but some guys were on rain tires and some guys were on intermediates. And I think that's what you're looking at. I think Michael Mueller's has the right setup tire-wise for these kind of conditions.
Now, Dorsey, one thing to point out, if the track dries and he does have this compound figured out for the wet conditions, he might be taking some very evasive lines around this racetrack, and it may cost him time trying to find some cooling for those tires.
Well, the one thing is he's got a lot of time that he can waste with 17 seconds lead in 2 laps.
Good point. Good point. Here is a great battle here heading into turn 5. 4 cars under contest here.
Everybody being very gentle with the brake pedal. Again, these cars, short wheelbase, live rear axle, it just means they'll turn around on you in a heartbeat.
That's the number 29 machine. William Cobb, 50 years of age, out of Cambridge, Wisconsin. That's near Madison, not too far from here. Sponsored by Clueless Racing. He's getting a clue here. He's getting a pretty good run here.
Well, by the time this race is over, they probably need that engine back in the snowmobile. We are in Wisconsin.
This is the battle for 11th and 12th. Chris Larson there in the number 17 leads this field into the carousel.
Oh, watch them through the carousel. You see these cars moving around quite a lot. And again, it's short wheelbase is part of that. And the fact that you're driving a solid rear axle just makes it really, really a hard car to keep grip in a wet condition.
Coming into frame here, exit in the carousel, heading down the straightaway.
This will be interesting what they do through the kink. It's wet to the inside, remember.
So give the position to William Cobb, Central Division racer in the Milwaukee region. Started in the 12th position, now working his way into the top 10.
Still wet on that back straightaway, and that'll be like that for hours. Like I say, it's very shielded because of the tree coverage.
Larson losing another spot there to the Mitchell Racing Services number 44 machine driven by Herb Noble.
And right behind that, back in turn 13, you saw a safety truck going sideways across the racetrack, so Oh, a big spin here, and this might be contact. Nope, he gets it stopped right at pit in.
Corey McLeod is the car that spun the 58 earlier in the race, and that's the 56 of David Lapham. He was the driver that spun on the warm-up lap in the carousel.
And obviously back in 13 there must be a spin too, because I saw a safety truck over there administering to somebody who's had problems.
That's the 58 of Corey McLeod, unfortunately having the issues there, Dorsey.
And see how quick that car spun around too. That's that short wheelbase. He got it stopped, did the right thing, got hard on the brake pedal after he had the spin. Otherwise, if he'd gotten that grass, he'd have been right over in the guardrail.
And here's the run for fifth as we get into turn number 3 here. Hard on the braking, the number 10 machine, Jeremy Morales in fifth, leading the number 38 machine of Stephen Jondal.
Oh, and the spin back. Oh, no, good catch. Wow. He had her crossed up, but he got it saved.
Very strong run there by Jondal to save it.
Now his heart's going gut now.
One beat at a time. It's 1 per minute. It's a constant heavy beat here.
That's as far as you can get without going around. Now, obviously, there's a lot of front steering angle on these cars to save a car that was that far gone.
Morales finished 6th here a year ago. Now he's in the 5th position in turn 5. Leading the driver that's trying to find where his heart should go back from his throat down back into his chest cavity out of Somerset, Wisconsin. That's Stephen Jondal, 52 years of age. In his 14th opportunity here at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, currently in 6th.
Little twitch there at the exit of the corner, you see. You got to be on top of these cars. Like I say, with the short wheelbase, they really are darty, and they'll want to turn around really fast. You got to be real quick with your hands to get those slides corrected.
No spray whatsoever here off the carousel, off of turn 7 down into turn number 8 to the carousel. That looks to be a dry portion of the course.
I think you'll see it wet from the kink down to Canada, and it'll be wet back there for a long time. But other than that, this racetrack is probably 80% dry now. You can see a dry line through here, through the carousel. But once they drop into this valley, if you will call it that, where the trees are, coming out of Canada Corner, out of the kink toward Canada, it'll be wet through here. Watch.
We're looking at Michael Brent here as we follow him through in the QRE chassis.
Trouble here. Couple cars, yeah. Corner workers administering. That's out of Canada Corner, I think.
Looks like Keith Jocelyn's one of them in the number 676 machine, Grand Island, New York.
Wow. And you see these corner workers, they put themselves in harm's way. This race is still green. They're trying to get this car out and going.
That's in Canada Corner again. It's a passing opportunity, but you mentioned the shading there.
Good job, these guys, to get the car going again.
And we continue underway here. He gets back righted thanks to the corner workers for getting his car righted. The other car was able to pull away, so the number 76 of Keith Jocelyn will continue on here. Michael Miller leads Jason Knutson and C.J. Maccabee, as the top 3 runners in the Formula 500 class here at the 2008 edition of the Formula 500 run to the gold in the National Championship Runoff. Stay with us for more coverage on SpeedcastTV.com in a moment.
This portion of the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.
And welcome back, and there's our Super Sweep eligible driver. Jason Knudsen was running in the second position. Now in the sand.
Canada corner again. That's been the nemesis. It's a very, very slippery corner down there. The rest of the racetrack is dry.
There's been a surface flag in that area, and the 92 of Knudsen unfortunately found exactly why.
Well, that's the break zone. It's a relatively fast corner, but like I say, it's one of the sheltered corners, and you can get turned pretty quickly right there, and you see.
Look at the tire tread there. He does have tires that appear to be.
Those are intermediates.
Yep.
He's got on there.
Just figuring out how he began the race, and unfortunately the race, he's still in the car. Perhaps he's hoping to get the opportunity to fire up that F500 motor and get back going again here.
Well, no damage done to the car. I mean, that's what that gravel trap's for. It stops the cars before they get into what the barrier is behind there.
I don't think I've ever seen a driver stay in the car getting lifted out of the sand, though.
I'm thinking the same thing. I can't remember that being done either. Michael Miller just absolutely killing these guys. He's got the fastest race lap at a 2:54.9. That is some 5 seconds better than any other car on the racetrack.
C.J. McAbee's running second. He's got silver somewhere in sight, but he has the leader far from sight. C.J. McAbee runs second. Jeremy Morales is up to third with Knudsen spinning off course. Up to fourth is Michael Brent. Stephen Jondal fifth. David Lapham is now in the sixth position. I stand corrected. It was not the 76 of Keith Jocelyn involved in the incident before we went to break. It was actually the 16 machine of Chuck McAbee. Also involved was Charles Schlussman, who spun to avoid. Those are the cars that were entangled in our previous incident before we went to commercial. So I want to get that squared away. And unfortunately for Jason Knudsen, his super sweep opportunities have gone away as he got the hook through the sand. He's going to try to get back on course in that number 92 machine, but spun from second in turn 12 with the surfaces ultra tricky right now.
Michael Miller just killing these guys. 46-second lap lead.
And there he is. We'll take a quick glance at it because I don't think we'll be able to stay with him. He's fast.
You're right about that.
Running out of our camera range here.
That setup he put on the car, tire-wise and setup-wise, was spot on. I'm telling you that it hasn't twitched. Car looks really, really good. 46-second lap lead is unheard of in this class.
And you look at things. Mike Miller finished second here last year. Is right here. This is his backyard. Plymouth, Wisconsin is the next neighboring city from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. He's got a 2004 Red Devil chassis. For some reason, all the stars aligned. They made the right call. They had the right thing for breakfast. I mean, this is all working in his favor.
He can grab the checker flag and drive home from here. It's not but right down the road.
Probably still have some gas left in the tank as well. C.J. McAbee is trying to close that gap as we're working lap number 7 now. But here again is the race leader all by his lonesome. There's McAbee. Okay, now we get a shot at the second place car. That is the 15 machine of C.J. McAbee, 30-year-old driver. His dad, Chuck, is also in the event. The neat thing about it is C.J. McAbee is now living in Topeka, Kansas. His dad lives in Sykesville, Maryland, and they get to race together in the SCCA.
That's great, right here at Elkhart Lake. He's got a 15-second lead presently over the next competitor.
And McAbee won the Midwest Division this year. No slouch at all. 3 wins, including 2 at Heartland Park, Topeka. So I'm thinking C.J. McAbee had a lot of confidence heading into this race. He's now by himself solidly in the second position, but well back of our race leader, Mike Miller.
Start looking at some lap time here, see if anybody's setup is getting better as this track dries. Looks like the only real troublesome area is Canada Corner.
We just saw Jason Knudsen going out of frame in the pits. He came back to pit road and did a hard right. So Knudsen, our points champion and a super sweep eligible driver, has pulled behind the wall. He's out of it in F5.
Well, Jeremy Morales in third place is actually the fastest car on the racetrack presently. So that's what I was looking for, to see if this dry setup was starting to favor one car over another. And it is favoring Jeremy Morales, who has got right now the fast lap at a 2:54.6.
Morales, sponsored by Morales Motorsports, a 1998 Raptor chassis. Again, chassis diversity. We talked about the Raptors. There's also KBS-built chassis. There's 5 of those in the field. 5 Red Devils, including a race leader. 1 Nova Car chassis. 6 QRE Invaders. 6 Scorpion chassis. 1 TR1 Stinger. 1 Maverick F500. And 1 Ellis chassis that Aaron Ellis is driving currently in the 15th position. A lot of disparity there and a lot of creativity, as we saw. Even the bodywork, some have the tail sucked into the back to dovetail it. Others wanted the flat panel high and low to get that rear exit and the benefit of the airflow. We see the 15 there has a very narrow exit on the tail of the of his F500. That's C.J. Maccabee in second position.
Well, at Elkhart Lake with 3 very long straightaways, aero is huge, and slipperiness is huge as far as drag coefficient. You want to be
and
as
sometimes
clean as
just
can be.
bring it back to a point like the 29 machine there. You see the tail on that car very different in configuration than the car behind it.
Anytime you can narrow these cars up and narrow the bodywork up and get a good drag coefficient, it's going to pay dividends because you've got 3 straightaways at this racetrack versus 1.
That's William Cobb coming into frame here.
These guys have been racing each other really hard. Chris Larson, William Cobb, that's a battle for 8th presently, but they have been going at it.
Right now the position belongs to Cobb, who passed Larson for the 8th position. Larson back to 9th. Lots of bodywork on that car in the second in line there. Forcing that air over this race car.
This point right now is where you're going to see what setups are better suited. The racetrack is drying, so we talked about Michael Miller, who's had a huge lead in the wet. He might be slowing up somewhat now as the track is only wet down in Canada Corner.
And the 29 machine is the only CNB Milton Banna chassis in the field. Pretty simplistic bodywork there comparative to the number 17 of Chris Larson. That's a 2006 Scorpion KRL 07.
Now that lap, Michael Miller, our leader, did in fact top the field lap time-wise. He drops into the 253s now at a low 253.1. Second best is our third place car, Jeremy Morales, who's at the 254.6 on that last lap.
Past halfway now in the Formula 500 run to the checkered flag in the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. One of 24 races, 28 different classes competing in the season-ending grand finale in the Olympics of amateur road racing here at Road America. Take a look at this speed shot. The cars are very fast. They look small in configuration. They certainly are, but these drivers are really now at full song here. It doesn't appear that the wet conditions are affecting them whatsoever.
Now, I think this corner right here is just about the only corner they got to be a little bit careful with. The rest of the corners in the racetrack look dry, and you can tell from the tone of those engines, as you saw and heard right there, that they are, in fact, at full chat now.
Here's a good look at Keith Jocelyn's car, still at full song. We unofficially identified him, improperly identified him earlier as a spin here in Canada Corner, but he's continuing on. Jocelyn, the number 76 machine, currently in the 10th position. And for his first runoffs, he's doing a fine job, hanging here in 10th and trying to move forward into 9th there, trying to close in on William Cobb and that number 29 machine.
Lap times still continue to drop as the racetrack dries out. I said before that this is not an easy configuration of car to drive in the wet conditions, just by the nature of what it is. It's a shorter wheelbase, solid rear axle car. But as it dries, it will become, as you said before, a very fast car.
This is the battle for 10th. Jocelyn actually lost a spot that lap. The 45 Herb Noble made a move on him and is pulling away into turn 1. You see the lighter portions of the racetrack. That's where it is drying. This is the brightly colored 76 of Jocelyn to get back to 11th as Herb Noble has turned up the wick ahead of him and has now left him by 10, 15 car lengths after he pulled him into 14 and took the pass to 10th.
Fastest car on the racetrack again is our third place car, Jeremy Morales.
Running
is
12.
Catching 252 to a 255, a 3-second gain in one lap.
Looking at Brian Brothers here in his first ever runoffs, running in the 12th position under the Sargento Bridge. Good job by Brian to hang in there out of Lake Orion, Michigan. Great Lakes Division champion here in frame.
Whew, Michael Miller just comes through 251.5. Track is drying and the speeds are really getting fast.
Well, let's go to that debate game then. If Miller has intermediate or wet tires on that car, they're going to heat up because they're not made to stay dry and run on a dry surface.
If he's on full wets, you'll have to start looking for puddles or any place you can get those things cooled down. This is our third place car I was talking about. Fastest car on the racetrack, Jeremy Morales. Ran a 252.90, then Mike Miller just beat it with a 251.5. But this is the man on the move.
And it's a 1988 Raptor chassis. We see that bodywork tucked in right around the backside of the engine, allowing the exhaust to exit out the bodywork, and everything else has been enclosed here for Jeremy Morales. A nice run for the Glen Head, New York racer. Northeast Division finished third in division.
And it is confirmed Michael Miller, our lead driver who's had such a huge lead, is on full wet tires. So he will start slowing up and he will start looking for places to keep those tires cool as we're on lap 8 of 13.
We mentioned Morales is in the Northeast Division. He actually ran out of division at the end of the season, ran at VIR and finished both events there on the podium. So Morales certainly fast at the end of the season here to climb to third in the Northeast Division points and seventh in the national point standings. Currently now third in that number 10 machine.
Yeah, Morales just takes the fastest race lap away from Michael Miller, drops down to the 250.9. Man on a mission here.
Whoever predicted to put on slicks, I think, is smart. Very smart now. It was a big question mark before this race. Some guys, we saw Jason Knudsen, unfortunately, with his car stop, we could see the tire tread actually had some siping and some grooves in it, so that was an intermediate setup, as Dorsey explained. This may be where the conditions are improving for the drivers on full slicks.
Well, I would have to assume right now that Jeremy Morales is on either slicks or a very light, medium compound intermediate, because his speeds are the most right now. He has gained the most, and he's maintaining the fastest car.
Morales started back in the 7th position, currently runs third here through turn 6. We're again keep an eye on the racetrack as well. Thanks to Volkswagen, our coverage is being brought to you in HD. A clearer picture for you to see around this course where it is indeed drying. What's lighter in color is where the track is beginning to fully dry now.
Well, right now, the way it is right now, a slick would be the best option. But of course, it wasn't that way at the beginning of this race, and you don't have time to come in and change. But the guys who gambled and put slicks on should be coming toward the front now.
Working lap 9, Mike Miller leads, C.J. McAbee. Morales here we see is running third. Michael Brent fourth. Stephen Jondal up to fifth. David Lapham sixth. James Whita runs 7th. 8th is William Cobb. Nice run by William. 2 more spots than a lap ago, up to 8th. Herb Noble 9th. First Larson 10th, and Keith Jocelyn now 11th.
Amazing run by Michael Miller. Still got 54 seconds on Charles McAbee that went to buy in our frame right there, the 15 car. Morales still maintains fastest car on the racetrack, but he's only 5 seconds back from second place. So
this is fun.
Morales, it's over with.
Morales has gotten by.
Boy, he gained 5 seconds in one lap right there. So that's how much I think the slicks are coming through.
Amazing run by Morales up to second, just getting by the 15 of C.J. McAbee.
Wow, he's 3 seconds a lap faster than the leader, Michael Miller. His tires might be going off a little bit.
CJ's not done yet, though. Morales might think he's the fastest thing on 4 wheels, but McAbee's pulling to the inside to try to stay even. So in his pace in second, surprised somewhat by Morales catching him, and now they're going to try to draft at the front stretch. Morales is taking him with him.
Yeah, I don't know if they're trying to do that, or if they're trying to cool the tires off over on the wet side of the racetrack. That might be what they're doing. It might have been trying to break the draft, but I think right now tire conservation is going to be pretty important. As you look at Michael Miller, the overall leader, and he is actually backing up now. Wow. Morales 2:45.6
Working lap 10. Working lap 10. This is getting exciting to the finish here.
That's 8 seconds faster than the leader in one lap. So he got a long way to go, though, with 52 seconds. That's down 3 seconds from last lap, however.
Morales and now the 15 of McAbee, working by the 54 of Michael Vasek out of Itasca, Illinois. Central Division racer, finished second here in July at a Central Division national race. Now getting a lap put on him. These guys are flying.
Yeah, the guys right now with that dry setup are really a lot faster than the people who run around the reins. But that was a huge lead that Michael Miller put together. 55-plus seconds at one time, almost a minute. It's down to 52, though.
And we'll see it. The laps are winding down, Dorsey. This math doesn't compute, but Morales is certainly flying around this course, put on a show.
Jeremy Morales is the fastest guy by a ton right now. But time's running out, as you said, Jim. I mean, we're going to be working lap 10 here in a minute. There's your leader overall, still doing a really good job, Michael Miller.
Certainly some moisture back here on this backside of the course still.
Yeah, he's trying to find that moisture, too, I guarantee you, with rain set up on that.
Through turn 12, up under what was the Billy Mitchell Bridge, now over the Billy Mitchell Bend, over the Kohler Bridge, 13 into 14 here. Yeah, the final corner before this long front straightaway.
We'll give you a split here in a minute. 52 seconds last lap is what the lead was. You see him moving to the inside looking for water. That's what he's doing. He's not going pit lane. He's trying to cool those tires off. He's got a hot running Jeremy Morales running him down from behind it. Some 7-8 seconds lap quicker. We'll see when it comes by this time.
Now the teams are allowed to have crew members along the wall in that signal island. Didn't see any gestures to our race leader by anyone, whether it be a gap or a pit board.
Well, Mike Miller came through 2:49.2. Morales is faster than that by 4 seconds last lap. Let's see what he gets this lap when he does finally cycle through the timing scoring up here.
So Miller still holds a very comfortable lead, but again in search of wet racetrack, and that can be very important because if these tires get too hot, there's not a lot of tread to play with here.
No, and they blister, and they'll get continually worse. They start chunking those treads off of there and can actually blister the tire, and those blisters starts popping. It feels like you got 4 flat tires. And you see right there, again, Michael Miller running through the water to the outside track. Look at the big spray. That's helping him out a lot. All right, let's see. 2:44, 5 seconds a lap. Jerry Morales is down to 47 seconds.
Down to 47 because the advantage this man built up early on in the wet may prove to be the key. Get out as far as you can because Jeremy Morales is still coming.
5 seconds a lap faster is a ton, no doubt about it. You look at Michael Miller right there, searching for water anywhere he can find it to get those tires cooled down.
Working lap 11 of 13. I would think that the race leader was hoping this would be the final lap, but we have 2 more to go after this one.
Well, he's in good hands. I mean, he's in good shape still with that 47-second lead. His strategy was the right one, no doubt about that. The setup he had for rain was way better than anybody else had. But this man, in the dry, is taking 5 seconds a lap away, and he's still got 3 laps, almost 4 laps to get it done.
Beautiful drive by Jeremy Morales. He is in second position. Certainly has put a gap on third place, which continues to be C.J. McAbee. McAbee raced him, challenged him back in turn 14. That was only a lap and a half ago. And look at the distance he's put on now with his splendid drive by Jeremy Morales.
If there were more laps, I think Jeremy would be in good shape. But, working lap 10 going into 11 up 13, he doesn't have a lot of time to get this job done.
His best runs this year have been a 4th and a 5th at Watkins Glen. So for this to be right, everything worked for Jeremy's favor. Yes, he did qualify for the Runoffs by running in his division and doing very well. 3rd in the Northeast Division. But he ended up running 3 races out of division, and all of them were third-place finishes.
Well, if nothing else, he's going to end up with fastest race lap at the Runoffs. That's the minimum he's going to get out of this. Nobody even close, not even remotely close to the times he's setting.
So Morales runs in second now as the field is spread out amongst this 4-mile road course. 27 cars took the green flag in very wet conditions. The track has continued to dry in F500. Except the back half of the course that remains in shade and a bit of dampness there. Morales now slowly through. I'd say that's about the slowest we've seen him all race, going through that area of the racetrack down through Canada Corner.
This is your 7th place battle, 7th and 8th you're looking at right there. Herb Noble and James Wida.
They've done a very nice job working their way from about 11th to 12th when they first kind of took a notice of them, and now bucking the trend here, moving forward here. This is, again, looks to be slick tires taking advantage here now as the track continues to dry. These guys are advancing up the pylon. 8th is Wida, 7th is Noble, and it looks to be Wida's opportunity here.
Yep, good run down the inside. Turn 5. Steady, boys. Gets it done. That's turn 8, sorry.
Into the carousel, and Wida will get the position, move Noble back to 8th position in the 44. Move Wida up to the 7th in the 22. There's Noble.
Michael Miller's been by start-finish line, starting his 11th lap. He comes by to 2:49.2. Morales still 5 seconds quicker at a 2:44, drops the deficit to 42 and is running out of time.
There's Herb Noble now in the 44 working through some cars. He is ahead of Wida, I stand corrected. Noble's in 7th. Wida is in 8th, and a great battle through the carousel has now been settled momentarily as they work past 2 other cars.
Side by side coming in the brake zone. All good passes done well before the brake zone. Will not hinder the progress of any of those cars.
Noble out of Marion, Iowa in the 44 machine has run here in the Central Division, which races at Road America twice for points, and of course here at the Runoffs for the 3rd straight year. So a lot of track time coming into play in Herb Noble's 8th National Championship runoff event. His best finish, however, came at Heartland Park, Topeka in 2008. That was a P15. So Noble running after his first top 10 finish. Great job.
Good place to get it here at the Runoffs, where the toughest competition there is in this country.
Running behind him again is the 22 machine of James Wida, 33 years of age, finished 5th year in the Runoffs. Also a Central Division racer out of the Chicago region. Scorpion chassis. His best finish was 5th, in 5 races, was 2nd at Blackhawk Farms Raceway in the Central Division.
Michael Miller, the leader, working through lap traffic here. Still doing a really good job with those wet weather tires, trying to find water and hold together for another 2 laps. for a championship. He must know, though, that Jeremy Morales is running him down at better than 5 seconds a lap. The time is running out.
And Mike Miller's pace has quickened as well throughout the race. It was over 3 minutes. Now it's down to 2:49.2. But Morales' 2:44.3 has everybody watching.
Yeah, Michael Miller, look at him here, working the inside, trying to find water, get those tires cooled down any way he can, get up against that wall. That's going to help his cause. You know, if he's only got to do this a couple more laps, he's got a great big lead left. We'll let you know once Jeremy Morales gets here. Hasn't come by yet. 2:49.2 the last lap from Mueller. Morales we will expect to be under the 2:44 range.
And look at the minimal body work is paying that off. He's got the under tray coming back, but nothing super fancy above the rear axle center line. And it's certainly part of the success formula that he's put together here at the Runoffs. There's a good look at Jeff Blumenthal, the number 96 machine. He's running behind the race leader, but boy, a lot of guys got passed by Mike Miller today.
2:43.60 for Jeremy Morales, fastest race lap by a ton. It's down to 36 seconds, but we're also down to a lap to go.
And Blumenthal was 13th, so Mike Miller has lapped up to 12th now in just 13-lap race.
Miller just needs to stay on the racetrack. He doesn't have to worry about Morales, not with a lap to go. Morales, he's got to just do what he's been doing, just hammer down.
And the track is really starting to dry quickly now. So the time is right for this race to end for Mike Miller's purposes, as he again is seeking out the wetness on this racetrack to stay in front, and he's done a very fine job of that as well. Maintaining a great pace, finding the water, but not staying there too long, but just long enough.
Well, he's run his race perfectly. He had a full wet setup. He went out there. It was far faster. He did a huge lead, almost a full 1 minute lead. And then when it started going away, he knew he was disciplined enough to start going for the wet, keep those tires dry. Here is our fastest car, Jeremy Morales, 36 seconds behind at the start of that lap. But he's running 2:43 to 2:49, so that's quite impressive.
This is the final circuit, the final few corners for these drivers. Mike Miller took silver a year ago. He'll walk home with the gold if he can make it through the final portion of the course. From Plymouth, Wisconsin to Elkhart Lake is literally the next city over. And what a great win on this national stage for a local racer done good. Mike Miller in his final few corners leading this man, Jeremy Morales, who put on a great display of driving, but just quickly found a way through the field except for one man ahead of him, and that is Mike Miller right here in the 24 machine.
They approached this race in two different ways. One went with a full wet setup, one went with a compromised dry setup. And in this particular case, it looks like Michael Miller had the right combination.
Through the final few corners here, putting a position of lap on Chris Larson, it appears, going up the hill for the final time. Larson in the groove. Mike Miller doesn't have to worry about tires now. It doesn't appear he was not way to the inside as he was the last 4 or 5 laps. Still in a bit of a shadow of the wetness. And Mike Miller will come home the gold medalist in Formula 500 in 2011 at the Runoffs.
And albeit a moot point, we'll see what Jeremy Morales was able to knock down off of that. He's going to get a solid second place with a great drive. And this was all about setup.
And Morales now getting through 13 to 14. So that was the distance that he had to overcome. He chiseled away, but unfortunately the tree bark was a bit too big around. He could not chisel his way through it to even see the leader of the race when he got into second position.
Well, fastest race lap last lap was a 2:43.6. Can he better his own time? It's going to be the fastest race lap regardless. 2:43.550 will take the fastest lap of
on the last one. What a great job by Morales. Splendid drive.
Cut that deficit to 31 seconds. Just a little bit too much too late.
And C.J. McAbee, who is running in the second position, is also making his way through the final few corners. McAbee, a very strong run.
C.J. with a very good drive.
That's fifth place. Stephen Jondal, if he can hang together, he's got a top 5 of the Runoffs. Great job by him.
This was a tough one to call, I'll tell you. When they went out this morning, it wasn't raining. The racetrack was still wet. Everybody threw their best guess at it. And Michael Miller pulled off a really good one with a wet car.
We'll continue to watch for position battles around the course as they continue to make their final lap around. There's that blue 54 machine of Michael Vasic of Itasca, Illinois. 6th at the sprints, we already mentioned. His best finish at the Runoffs in 4 tries is 11th.
And this isn't over yet. Out of turn 8 it goes, and this is for position.
Woo! Almost got together there. That was close. Closing the door.
Shut the door right there on the carousel. That's a very long corner, though. You can get a better run around the outside. That's what's going on. We're trying to make a pass.
That's Chris Larson in the number 17 machine out of Kewanee, Wisconsin. Trying to gain position.
About a third of a lap left to get it done. The best opportunity up ahead, which is the brake zone going into Canada Corner. Also the slipperiest place on the racetrack right now.
That's Chuck McAbee, who spun earlier in turn 12 and continued on. So great to see that he was able to return to action. McAbee unofficially 23rd with a lap to go.
Not close enough to mount an attack here. That then gives him one more opportunity up there in 14. And he's close enough to possibly get a run at him.
Checker flag continues to wave for the competition in Formula 500. Mike Miller has made it his very own playground here in his backyard of Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The Plymouth, Wisconsin driver has captured gold in Formula 500.
And the last try for a pass made it calmly, cleanly, well before the brake zone. And our 17, Chris Larson.
Something appears to be amiss on the left rear suspension of that car.
Well, I think it's the bodywork. I think the bodywork's just dropped on the left rear. I've been watching that. But Chris Larson got that pass on the last attempt, turn 14, and will come through.
Larson did not finish this race a year ago, so that is an accomplishment he can build on for 2012. And there is our race winner, Mike Miller with the fist pump. Well-deserved run. Well-deserved championship, the MJ Manufacturing 5Co HRP Subway sponsored car. He won the first two events to start the season in the Central Division, and he ended up third overall. Those are his lone victories this year. He'll end the season the way he started in victory lane, but this a much bigger stage and much more success to be shared with his family and friends here in nearby Plymouth, Wisconsin. A double fister there.
Played the conditions perfectly. The setup was exactly what was needed, and he did everything he had to do, including run offline and get those tires cooled down to win this championship.
You think he's excited? Look at that.
That's what I'm talking about.
That is part of the definition and the purpose and the reason why these guys race throughout the country and have a chance one time a year to run against the best. And Mike Miller proved to be the best here today in Formula 500.
You got to watch hugging your mom with the helmet on because those headbutts really hurt. He's pumped, man. Should be. That was a tough race and perfectly executed win.
This 27-year-old man will have a lot to celebrate with his friends and family. Get the helmet off. Biz is down there as well. We'll talk to him in a few moments. With Mike Miller, the winner, Jeremy Morales, the silver medalist, CJ McAbee, third. He's got the fancy hat on there, and now we're talking.
Oh, yeah, man. What a great moment.
He'll get the champion's hat. We'll swap it out here quick. We'll do the old hat dance, and let's throw it down to John Bizignano with our winner.
What a great drive, Michael. But maybe this was your secret at the beginning anyway, the full rain tire. When did you make that choice?
About 20 minutes before the race, we were looking at the previous race on the phone, the coverage that you guys provide with Speedcast, so that helped us make our tire decision. You can see a lot of roost still coming off those cars, and I knew it wasn't going to get dry enough for a full intermediate, especially on the backside of the course, and it was a brilliant call. These rain tires are perfect the whole way. Hoosier builds an awesome tire, and it's proof. Look at how much is left on that thing. So,
well, let's make it official. Let's get Bonnie in here with the gold medal. Congratulations on just a fantastic drive. But I've got to ask you, once things started to dry out, I mean, you were changing fastest laps with the other guys behind you, back and forth, back and forth. But certainly, this was not the tire to have the last 5 laps.
No, I was looking for water to make sure that I didn't blister them, but I still had more left in the car. I just didn't want to push too hard and end up spinning out. I spun for the first time on Monday qualifying. I knew I wasn't going to do that again.
Well, let me tell you, it's a brilliant choice on the tires, but also a brilliant drive. Congratulations.
I got to thank my family. We do this together. This means so much to us. My sponsors, MJ Manufacturing, 5Co, Subway, Brad Hullings at HRP, awesome motor, clutch pipe, everything. Congratulations. And UMW, the Dresang family, everybody that supported us, thank you very much.
Well, it just shows what it takes to be a champion. It's not just the driver, it's a whole team behind you.
That's right, absolutely.
Congratulations, our second place driver who certainly showed some speed. Now let's take a quick look at his tire. This is the intermediate tire. It's not as deeply grooved, but it's not as slick. So this was the perfect tire to have sort of halfway through the race, perfect tire choice, but in the beginning, you were slipping and sliding all over the place.
It was a little slippery out there.
Tell us about that spin.
That opening lap, I just got in the gas a little too early. Clutch just kicked in, the rear end kicked out, spun right around on me.
Another 3 or 4 laps, do you think you could have won this thing?
I think I could have. If I would have stayed in, get on the gas just a little bit later that opening lap, I would have had him.
Well, congratulations on a super silver medal. Great drive. Woo! Our third place car. Third place, congratulations, Charles. I'll tell you, you were a sandwich there for a while. Great drive. You were on the full wet, certainly the thing to be in the first half of the race, but how did they hurt you towards the closing laps?
I wouldn't really say it hurt me towards the closing laps. We were coming up with a vibration towards the end anyway, so it didn't really matter. I figured, we go out, we'll try the wets. It was real wet, so I figured if it was going to dry out, it'd only be the last couple laps, so I could abuse them if I had to, but it just didn't work out. But we had a good runoff. So.
Congratulations on a great bronze medal. Okay, guys, that's it from the F500s. These guys know how to have fun when it goes racing. What a great drive.
And Biz just talked to C.J. Maccabee, a disappointed third, but what a great run he had, and who would have thought Morales was going to be that fast after recovering from that spin. And the excitement, the pure emotion coming out for a race winner is really a telling sign and a special moment here at the Runoffs.
Really, really good race, and it was all down to the setup and who guessed right, who didn't. And thanks for the kudos, by the way. Mike Miller is telling us he was on the phone on his phone watching that session before this, and that's where the decision was made to go to full wets. It was the right decision. I mean, he made a almost 1 minute gain. And then Jeremy Morales put the show on for us. Ran it down to 31 seconds, fastest race lap. Good job.
C.J. Maccabee third. Michael Brent will finish one spot out of the medal podium. Fifth is Stephen Jondal. Nice run by him. Wida and Noble worked their way to 6th and 7th.
Yeah, those guys were back there in 8th and 9th for a while, and they battled all the way down to the final corner.
William Cobb, 9th. Great job by him. Keith Jocelyn, great job in finishing top 10 at the Runoffs here. As the unofficial results are for the 500 and the 27 cars that came through the line. Here's 11 through 20. Larson, Aaron Ellison, that home-built chassis, finishes one lap off the pace in 12th. But, boy, what a blistering run it was for Miller and the rest of these machines. Very nice job. Great race, great finish. Jack Walburn back there. Nice job by Jack as well. One of the older gentlemen in the field in the Formula 500. A great job. Charlie Schlichtmann recovering from his spin early with Chuck Maccabee in turn 12. They finished 21st and 22nd. Our Super Sweep champ unfortunately found turn 12 sand, pulled off the racetrack, and will be credited with 24. So great season by Jason Knudsen. Well-earned run to the Super Sweep. Unfortunately, he'll have to wait for next year's opportunity to return to that very special place to capture a Super Sweep, who was eligible going into the race and unfortunately found his way from second to the sand trap here in Formula 500. The field is now fully back in the pits. The technical inspections will start. That's part of keeping these cars equal. Formula 500 machines are certainly fun to watch and certainly fun to call here on our SpeedcastTV.com coverage. Thanks so much for watching our coverage of the Formula 500 at the 40th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs.
This portion of the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.